Family, this is nuts. Okay, to me at least, it's nuts. You know, your person goes into the hospital, something's wrong with them, and then it's time for them to be let go, discharged, and go home. What if there's no home to go to? What if nobody shows up to pick them up? What is supposed to happen? You can't just stay in the hospital forever, or can you? Does the city keep you? Does the state keep you? Do you just become automatically without a home, unhoused? What in the whole hell? Anyway, today's guest is about to let us know what in the world goes down when a person might not have somebody to check on them. All right, come on, lean in, listen, watch. I mean, I'm going to make sure it's a little bit funny, but it hurts. Hurts to think about it.
Parenting Up, Caregiving Adventures with comedian Jay Smiles is the intense journey of unexpectedly being fully responsible for my mama. For over a decade, I've been chipping away at the unknown, advocating for her, and pushing Alzheimer's awareness on anyone and anything with a heartbeat. Spoiler alert, I started comedy because this shit is so heavy, so be ready for the jokes. Caregiver newbies, OGs, and village members just willing to prop up a caregiver, you are in the right place.
Hi, this is Zeddy. I hope you enjoy my daughter's podcast. Is that okay?
The hard truth about diabetes and dementia.
Our Parenting Up community is growing so fast. I can't put out an episode as fast as we're growing. So text podcast to 404-737-1449 for updates, exclusives, and suggestions on topics. While you're at it, share an episode with a caregiver you love. Review on Apple Podcasts and follow us on social media. Subscribe to our YouTube page. Please, it really helps.
Parenting Up community, boy, we're about to have something special happen today. Welcome, Timothy.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
You have a unique combination. I don't think we've quite had anyone with your mix-up of talent and experience. This is going to be fun. You are a caregiver, and you have a company that helps medical experts get it right for people like me. I cannot wait to dig into this a little bit more. So tell us about who it is you care for in your family.
So right now, my mom is our one remaining caregiving member that we have. So my mom has dementia, has type 2 diabetes related dementia, it just comes from years and years of neglect and genes and the lottery, and so it's been interesting. She has some interesting times, and we recently actually had to transition her into a community, and the community has memory care and that sort of stuff for her when she progresses to that stage. But there was a lot that we had to do to set up for that, and I worked with my sister. She was really great with that, and it's been entertaining. It's been a bit of an adventure, especially like the little things like taking away the car keys and that sort of stuff, and it's been a time. But it kind of helps us with our work. We assist hospitals with finding placement options for very challenging patients, and And unfortunately, a lot of times we see folks with dementia and Alzheimer's fall into that category. The family just isn't quite prepared or on the same page, and insanity ensues after that. So.
Right. Before we get into your company, with your mom, you said dementia-related type 2 diabetes. See, I knew you were about to give us something we hadn't talked about here before.
Yeah.
So you telling me that your mom from diabetes actually slipped on a banana
Yeah.
peel into dementia. Please let
Yes.
us know how that happened.
Yeah.
Because listen, I'm from the deep south. I know people aren't around here thinking that the sugar could lead them into forgetting stuff. Please enlighten us.
Yep. So there's three things that typically happen to individuals who have type 2 diabetes. One is an increased risk of cancer. Another one's typically increased risk of heart disease. And a third is increased risk of dementia. And that actually takes up a big chunk of people. Isn't that crazy? Right? And but if you think about it, if your body isn't managing sugar properly, your brain is the one organ that like says, I need sugar because it needs the most of everybody. It has so many things it has to do, it has to operate on. But if your body isn't managing that properly, that's going to lead to damage in the brain. I just simply see it as easy as that, right? And so that carries on into like issues like with dementia. So if you mix that also with like how you're getting your carbs, like is it through alcohol or something like that, then we see it targeted on top of that to like Lewy body dementia. So you have like you become violent and that sort of stuff, different types of dementia on top of that. So yeah, it's not fun, but yeah, and now we're seeing it much more commonly associated where hospitals will actually say this is a type 2 type of diabetes associated dementia, as opposed to the patient just has straight up dementia or whatever it may be. They're actually clarifying this in many cases. So, and if you think about it, there's a tremendous amount of med management that you have to do for somebody. Does a dementia patient want to be pricked? Right? It's like, no, they don't. It's like those are going to be challenges you have to kind of like to deal with and stuff like that. So, getting that sugar under control before. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, did you mention that? Remember, I'm a comedian. Did you just say, depending on how you get your carbs, say if it's alcoholism or if you're drinking? I was like, well, that's a way to get your carbs.
Yeah.
I know a lot of
Yeah.
people who get their carbs through their drinking, and it can get
Yeah.
out of control sometimes. And I don't know that any
Yeah.
of them have thought through this could lead. People have thought about or talk about, I should say this. I don't know what they're thinking, but they've thought about maybe liver damage, cancer,
Oh yeah.
kidney
Yeah. Never
function
dementia.
decline, liver problems, cirrhosis of the liver, but not, oh man, I'm about to break my brain, which is what I affectionately
I
call
never
Alzheimer's.
even like, yeah, but I never like put that. I never put like some types of dementia together with excessive drinking and stuff like that. And yeah, I grew up in Florida and Georgia, right? I mean, it's kind of like, I mean, what else are you going to do on a Saturday, right? I mean, like hello, type deal. And I never like really kind of put that together until I started working in healthcare, and I said, yeah, a person has a history of drinking, they have dementia, and I remember a nurse was saying, no, absolutely not. You stay away, because that person is going to turn on you in a second, and they're not going to know why. And it's because they just lose all regulation of anger control and that sort of stuff. So, and that's a whole different type of dementia, Lewy body dementia, and that's what scares the daylights out of providers so much. So we've had our fair share of those.
I bet you have.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised she doesn't, because I mean, I love my mom to death, but she for 20 years she had a diet of Miller Lite and jujubes. Right, that was her diet, and like you would find like jujubes, like in her house, we find jujubes like all over the place still, and it's been like years, right? It's like my goodness, now like Miller Lite, I mean, that's like really, I mean, I don't know if you could really count that as beer. It's not the strongest, but to continuously like be drinking like a couple and stuff like that, a night. I didn't like really think that like there was like a problem or anything until I had a friend of mine over. I was a little kid, and my best friend in the whole world. His first night, he comes over, spends the night, and he goes back home. We're hanging out the next day, and he says, "I have some questions about your family." I was like, "Well, what is this?" Like, well, I don't think they're alcoholics, but it's like, but they do drink a lot, And I was like really?
You're like,
Because
what do
like,
you mean?
I just like, I
It's a
was
light
with
beer.
it. I was like, what's it gonna be? It's like, and it's and kind of like I was talking to my sister like a little while ago. It was just like, our parents like drink like a lot. Like I don't know if they were, but my mom definitely is having some of the issues with it nowadays and stuff, especially with type 2 diabetes and her dementia. So yeah, it was like it made some interesting moments. But yeah, we'll find candy in the house for ages. I'm pretty sure whoever owns this house next is gonna have like. I'm gonna find like random boxes of jujubes hidden, stashed away.
That's right. It's like it will be a delayed Easter egg hunt or like a treasure find
Yeah,
for whoever.
and the crazy thing is they stopped making those like years ago.
Right.
It's like there's like this
They may
stashed
not
away
even
in a
know what
house.
it
I
is.
don't.
They're gonna be like, "What is this thing? Is it pet
It's just
food?
gonna be
Is it
like this
for
stuck
goldfish?"
together,
Yeah. What
right?
what symptoms did your mom display to let you or what other family members think that she needed medical intervention? Okay, this is not just mom acting a little wonky or a little quirky from her Miller Lite and her jujubes. This is something more serious.
Yeah, well, it was taking place when we were taking care of my dad, right? And and we started to notice that she was like, she's paying attention to my dad. My dad had cancer. My dad had liver cancer. There's a clad skin tumor. I mean, he's gonna die. I mean, it's just he put up like a hell of a fight, but but she was like so involved in that, and she really wasn't even like taking care of herself at all. And mind you, she didn't really take care of herself beforehand, and so that really kind of like accelerated everything, the stress of dealing with all that. Your body just isn't going to hold up to it very well, and and she was she was forgetting things. She was like leaving is not one thing like leaving a stove on, but it's another thing entirely like forgetting how to drive a car and and nearly running somebody over who was my son at the time. And then that's kind of like how we jerked the keys away. We're like, yeah, no, that's you don't get to drive anymore. Or just like not paying attention to the speed limit like at all.
Yes.
It's like
Oh
it's
my
like when you're
goodness.
like you're loading up in a car and mom's insisting on driving and stuff like that, and you're just like and you're positioning everybody in the car and basically on who you love the most, right? Um, the ones we really care about are going to sit in the back. It's like, well,
Like,
you didn't clean up
keep the
your room, so
window
go ahead
down.
and sit next to mom, all right?
Yeah. Keep the window down so you can jump out just in case you need to tuck and roll.
You want one hand up and you want the other one on the seatbelt in case you have to jump. Okay. But
Exactly. Did she
she had
realize? Go ahead.
No, she didn't. No, she didn't realize it was going on. You don't really. I mean, because and once individuals do realize, it's usually too late. She, we were watching Braveheart one time. My mom's from Scotland. She's from Glasgow, right? But she was like, she would spend like 4 hours in Scotland. But she considers herself Scottish, and I
You
mean, she grew
said
up in
4 hours. That's funny.
literally like like they had like she popped out, they got onto a plane, they were like in the airport and then they left, right? I mean, or boat, whatever they took, and because it was like the 40s, right? And so so we're watching Braveheart, which is, I mean, my mom it treats it as a comedy, because it's not like really factually accurate, like at all. It's like not even close. But there's one scene. My mom's from Glasgow, and she's always been very proud of Glasgow. And there's like a rival city called Edinburgh in Scotland. That's kind of like the New York versus Boston type of rivalry, right? And my mom just sits there and says, in a cute little like all like dementia starting to kick in voice, oh, they filmed it on location. Like when they were showing like Edinburgh, and it's like, it's like they're all like wearing kilts and it's like mud and it's like, the 13th century and that sort of stuff. But yeah, she can recognize it as it being Edinburgh, like nothing ever changed. And we just like, I mean, she was like very like sweet about it, but we just like, everyone just like kind of just busted out laughing at it. It's like, it was pretty good. So you get like those kind of like moments, but It's like we're not like quite connected, but that's kind of like a tale. Like, okay, like we're not putting the pieces together here, and sort of stuff. So it has you have a lot of cute moments like that, but hopefully,
That's good dry humor. I think David Letterman would have appreciated that comment. Absolutely,
yes.
absolutely. How many years since her diagnosis?
About 5
About
years.
5. Okay.
Yeah, and we really worked pretty hard to get her sugar intake under control. Grocery shopping is fun with her, let me tell you. You are the devil. She wants to buy every single candy that there is, every single alcohol. Now she's in a community. They're like, well, they let me have alcohol and drink whatever I want in the community. I'm like, no, they fucking don't. I'm like, no, they don't. Like, trust me on this one. Like, they're just giving you grape juice, mom, or cranberry juice. Okay, it's like, no, that's like not happening. Of course, it's like, and then you'll find like there's like, yeah, they'll have like people like stashed away beer because they do like in ALFs they will serve alcohol, because I mean they want to be like fun like that, but they're not supposed to give it to everybody. And she's like on that list, like absolutely do not, because she will start dancing on tables. Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, she is the party. She has to have the attention, and that's the other thing. Like to mention, those types of behaviors can really kind of start to come out more. If your loved one was like a little bit manipulative beforehand, that's going to really kind of kick into high gear. They're really going to be more and more manipulative as it progresses. My mom's always trying to pull something between me and my sister, like all the time. It's just like, but she's our mom, so
yeah. Are you?
Like, we're awful children. How could you do this? You're the worst people ever. I'm like, are you kidding? Like seriously? Like, I don't get it. But
are you and your sister typically on the same page with your mom's care?
Oh, absolutely. Same page, same medication, same alcohol, same everything. Yeah, we match really good. It's like no.
It doesn't always happen that way.
I mean, well, it is. I mean, you have it parenting up, right? You can't. You and your spouse have to be on the same page with your children, right? Well, you and your siblings have to be on the same page with your parents, because especially my mom, because she's like pretty manipulative. She will twist it. She tries to pit us against each other. Like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, how messed up is that? Like, and so like there'll be times where she's only talking to like one of us on top of that, so like right now I'm the bad child. Like, what the hell did I do?
And will she tell you that she's upset with you, or does she only let your sister know?
Usually only tells the other one. Oh, and the thing is, that you want to know what it is that I got to be the bad one for? Because usually in this case you would think, yeah. So we have my mom like has her like credit cards still and that sort of stuff, and she was spending a lot. And that's you're gonna spend yourself down really quickly, and that's not an option we really want. So it wasn't even like a discussion. It was just like, we're going to take the credit cards away. My sister took the credit cards away, and we give her a bank card that could be, you could add value to it. Okay, you could put like cash on it, whatever, so that could cover her needs, and so she doesn't end up broke. And my mom got like furious at my sister for that at first, but then turned it towards us when I was talking to my mom, and just totally I said, no, that's exactly what it was, because give you a week and you would be flat broke because you buy like everything. Like and that happens too, like, because sometimes people are trying to fill in like, sort of like a loss or like, some sort of like connection that they're looking for. And, you get that instant gratification when you buy something, right? So, you'll see people buy things a lot. My mom's like that. We had a case where There was like, it was at the hospital, and the guy had like freaking Amazon Prime boxes throughout his room because he'd been ordering shit on Amazon. He'd been in the hospital for so long. The guy ordered a Roomba. And he had the Roomba was like going around the hospital. I was like, that's really kind of cool. You guys have a Roomba in here. They're like, no, the patient ordered that. He's like, and I get up to him and he's like, yeah, I felt like I should help tidy up the place. You're kidding me, dude. He'd been there for so long. It's like, and there's like, you go in there, there's like, there's probably about 60 Amazon boxes that hadn't even been opened yet. Right. And, he's trying to like, and yeah, he is a dementia guy, but he's just trying to feel that need, it's kind of like, you got something,
No one stopped him. Like a nurse, I guess for the Roomba, they were like, hey, this is benefiting us.
The CFO's probably like, wow, we're saving labor hours here. Thanks.
Absolutely. Let's talk about your company. Let's talk a little bit about your company. You have a special expertise because, yes, you're in healthcare, but that is a broad umbrella. You actually, let me see if I can get it right, because it sounds really cool to me, but I'm going to say it in very casual terms.
Just whatever. It's fine. I'll agree with it. Go for it.
Yeah,
whatever.
You feed unicorns and help caregivers sleep at night.
I do. I tuck them in. Yep. It's just you want to have them pointing the other way. Right.
Yeah, because the poop sparkles and therefore you don't really want to see it. But your company assists hospitals with a patient after they leave the hospital. So, in order
to get them out, so they're stuck in the hospital. There's no one's taking them. The family's given up. They're exhausted, right? And they're at their wits' end, or there's needs that the patient has that the community can't address. They can't match it.
Right. And, so in steps 10. Yeah, in steps 10, because a family, there's a patient and they don't know whether they should be going to rehab or a nursing home, or they should go home, or if there is a home and there's not a family or some person who's healthy enough to come and actually pick them up. Think about how many of us would never have crossed that journey of saying, like, I've been in the hospital. I've had 9 surgeries, and I've been in the hospital a lot of other times. I've never had to wonder who was coming to pick me up, or if I had a place to go and recover.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, if you think about it, if you're the patient, it's pretty shitty, right? I mean, it's like
totally.
You're there's nobody cares. Like, you're like, what the hell? And will they be like so you have like skilled nursing, right? And that's like, you're going to go into there. And so skilled nursing and nursing homes are basically the same thing. And you're going to get rehab for a brief period of time, and you may end up being a resident there. That's the last option that we want, because it's the most expensive and the quality of life is pretty low. And then you have like assisted living, it's basically a landlocked party ship, for seniors. But you can get some rehab and that sort of stuff going on with them. But really the best option, though, is always for the person to return home to a point, right? And that's what we try to look to set up too. But for more and more folks, they just don't have that. They just don't have that social support. They don't have that family support, or the family just doesn't know what to do next, and they've drained all their resources or their availability. They've totally broken. They're like, just whatever, we don't care. Send them out of state. That's fine. Which really sucks, So we try to work with families and the patients the hospitals to get these issues like mitigated, so that we can get this show on the road, because you don't want to be in a hospital. After you've been in a hospital for 20 days, nothing good is going to happen. it's impossible. You're not like nothing as good is going to happen. We've seen like the craziest shit. We saw like beds, like literally like just like random things. Like we saw like a bed like flip on a patient one time. Like really, like that could happen. Yeah, it broke the patient's spine, right? And it wasn't anything. We've seen like like just like crazy, like actual genuinely like crazy shit. But we also seen like where staff where it's like, you know, you're putting a burden on the hospital to continue to bring to provide care. Just for that hospital to turn on the lights for your room, that's $800, right? It's like the shittiest hotel ever, right? I mean, like it is. It's like
Yeah,
it's $800.
there's no room service.
Yeah.
No
Well,
room service, no spa, no pool.
like cream corn.
No rooftop bar.
Cream corn and ginger ale.
What have been
the bar is crap.
The bar is crap. The bar is crap. There's the valet sucks. They don't ever really know where your car is.
Lost my car. Totally lost. Oh, we had that happen one time. Lost the patient's car one time and ended up at another hospital.
What?
That's a different story another day. Oh yeah, this guy was ended up at another hospital. Yeah.
What has been one of the more challenging cases for you? Give us an example of a challenging case, because I got to tell you, the majority of my listeners or my viewers, they are family caregivers for a loved one. So they are individuals who have taken on the responsibility or are seriously considering it. So they are not the individuals who have tapped out quite yet. But it doesn't mean that they may not reach the end of their rope. So they may need to have this information and or pass it along to someone else. So this is kind of, I want individuals to have the knowledge to say, hey, if I'm at my wit's end, because the one thing I think about is this, Tim. Yes, the first thing is for a dementia patient or anyone to be able to live and recover at home. But if for some reason you can't provide safe and adequate care, don't bring the person home. Like, don't bring them home and abuse them or neglect them. So it's better to be in touch with someone like yourself and your company. So give us, please, an example of when you should, like an example of a case that is perfect for you. That's what I think I mean. Yeah.
Well, so we wanted to avoid me being called. Okay, we don't want me being called because it's never a good situation. So what we want to do when we have, it doesn't matter if your loved one has dementia or Alzheimer's or not. Let's get a decision maker, a legal decision maker in place sooner rather than later. It doesn't matter if you're married or whatever, make sure there's a document that says this is who my decision maker is going to be, right? So you have a power of attorney, a set up durable power of attorney, ideally. And you can get these done, actually. The healthier you are, the cheaper it is. And I would do this with an attorney. The other thing is you're going to want to look into a trust. I don't care if you make $700 a month on Social Security or if you make $7,000 a month on Social Security. You're going to want to look at potential for there to be a trust involved in this. What do you need for a trust? And then the other thing is you're going to look at your state's requirements for Medicaid, because at the end of the day, if you have a trust, you have a power of attorney, and if you have a plan to get onto Medicaid, that means that there's going to be a long-term care payer for you, and we're not going to be burdening the family, right? Or you're not going to be burdened by your loved one when they need this assistance, because we got a payer. And if I'm a company, I used to oversee skilled nursing facilities. I would much rather get paid by the state, even though it's going to be less than a private pay, than by an individual who I have to sit there and bill and chase down every single month for the rent. I would rather be paid by state and say it's on time. I know exactly how much it's going to be, so those are the things we want to try to do to kind of avoid. So our toughest case ever. And it wasn't like somebody who had like a criminal background or, or was a vent dialysis patient or this like huge, massive clinical complexity. It was this 60 some odd year old lady. She's not even 65 yet. She has dementia. She has a little bit of a bipolar issue. And, she's married and has some kids, right? The kids aren't quite ready to take care of her. They're not quite old enough. And the husband's a little bit worn down, right? And we later found out he was freaking over it, dude. He was like, he went AWOL. He was nowhere to be found. And that was part of it, right? So like, we're trying to reach out and communicate with this guy, and he's not following up with us. So, okay. So we got to like figure out who's going to pay for this, because she's in a hospital, but there's no reason to keep her in a hospital, and there's nothing for the hospital for her to do. And there's meaning that Medicare isn't going to pay for her stay in a nursing home afterwards. You have to have a reason to be in a nursing home. Besides, there's no other place for you to go. You have to have like, she's going to go work on her hip or whatever it is. I meet with this lady like in person. When I show up, and the nurse like sits there and says to me, she's like, and she's been there. She's like one of those nurses that's been there like a while. She's like, don't fall in love. I'm like, what? Like, so there's something like I'm missing here, right? Like type deal. And I kind of like look through the meds and that sort of stuff. Nothing crazy. There's no like Haldol, Seroquel or anything like that. She hasn't been restrained or that. I go down, we sit there, we have this lovely conversation for this lady, sweetest lady in the world, right? I'm like, this is gonna be freaking easy. Like, what's the big deal? She's been denied by a lot of places. Yeah, that's fine because her payer's not great, but we got the payment situation squared away. And once we did get the information from the kids were able to help us get the information from Medicaid, we were able to get into a building, right? Because now the building knows they're going to get paid. And so she gets transferred. I should have kind of like realized that something was up, when the hospital transferred her like late at night, right? So the hospital transferred her like after dinner hours, right? So that's like usually like, okay, that's not a good sign. The hospital wants her out for some reason. And she gets to the new facility, and I get a call from that facility about 2:00 in the morning, and which is really uncommon. And they're not that far away. They're only like about 30 minutes away. So well, I'll go over there and check it out, see what's going on. She's running around naked with her soil-filled diaper, going like this in the hallways and that sort of stuff. And so the hospital had like left off some information about her medications. Family wasn't really too willing to share that information with the hospital either. The hospital sort of discovered it. I get to her room, and she had taken her soil diaper and spelled out HELL in there. And I said, she misspelled hello. And she's just like, she's screaming up and down the hallways like a banshee and stuff like that, And so eventually we get a primary care physician in, and we talk to him about the advantages of the Haldol patch, that could last a month for her and get her settled down a little bit. But the fact that there was no communication between the family and the hospital, that was made things very challenging. Had the family and the hospital been communicating, that would have helped out a lot. And especially if you ever have to go to a hospital, your best friend is not the nurse, it's not the physician, it's not the freaking CFO or whoever it is. That's going to be a nice person to know. They might pick up your lunch bill, but it's that case manager, right? And that's the person who's coordinating all the care that's been going on both inside the hospital for your loved one and outside the hospital. That's the person who you need to be buddy up with, friends with.
Okay, hold on, Tim. Come on, Timothy. You said you gave us a mouthful here. And you got to talk really slow for those of us who just finished first grade. Case manager, where do we even find the case manager? How do we get to him? Who do we ask?
Yeah, there is this magical person. Yeah, there is this magical person in the hospital.
When do we go and get this case manager person?
In the ER, right? They are in the ER, and that person is actually really the decision maker on whether or not you get admitted into the hospital or not. It is the case manager. the physicians can have input. The physician can say, yeah, we're going to order therapy for this individual, but it's the case manager. That's the person you need on your side more than anyone. And you need to work with that person. So that person is like the movie producer. Everybody else, of course, your loved one is the star of the movie, but the doctors are the different directors, the nurses are the writers, and that sort of stuff, right? But the producer of the film, that's going to be your case manager, and that's going to change from position in a hospital to position in a hospital. So the ER case manager is going to be different than the ICU or the med surge case manager and so forth. Those are all different case managers, but those are the people, generally they're different people, but that's the person you need to know. And that's the person you need to be on the same page with. It's usually a very stressed out individual. They're usually hiding in a corner around the nurse's station, shrouded in darkness. They're stressed out. They've usually had about 6 people yell at them before they've spoken to you. They just took turns, like all yelling at them. The reality of it is, though, without case management and central services, the hospital does not operate. It doesn't. There's no reason. It's just a big building. They organize all this pandemonium and get your loved one out. And that person has like the final say, and really in what type of care they're going to get outside the hospital. Right. At least they have the final say on the hospital side. So that's your best friend. Bring that person. Alcohol. They're usually good with chocolate. They're usually good with pens. All those types of things, right? Barter with them. Because you don't. You don't want to talk to the 20-year-old nurse who just broke up with their boyfriend who they've been dating for 10 minutes. That person's not going to tell you what's going on with your mom.
They don't know.
Sorry. Sorry. They're really smart though. They are like wicked smart. They know everything. Right.
They're really smart, and they have a lot of energy. They have a lot of energy, but it doesn't mean that they're going to give you what you need. So that is oh man.
So,
go ahead.
Yeah, even the physician, he or she has their patients they need to see, and then they got to move on, right? Because they got to either go visit patients somewhere else, back at their office or whatever. They got too much. This isn't their job. They're like, yeah, okay, I can order those meds. Okay, next, let's go. And it really is. It's an assembly line for them. Case management is the one that is really kind of getting things down to the minute.
Well, Tim, this has been fascinating and informative and funny at times, even though I know it may have been some hardships. It's some serious stuff. There's been hardships.
I'll never forget that lady.
Hardships along the way, but some really silly stuff. I want you to let the Parenting Up community know the name of your company, how they can get in touch with you if they're in your service area, and or how they find a company like yours, depending on what state or what country they may be in, how they make sure that they're covered.
Yeah. So we are national. Our company is ATP Healthcare. We work with a lot of health systems already, primarily in Florida, Georgia, California, Texas right now. But you can ask your case manager if they have placement specialists. And what we're actually, there are placement companies that do this, and they receive a fee from an assisted living company for referring your loved one to their community. That's not how we operate, because we essentially, those individuals, we're seeing them as being sold to the highest bidder. We are actually hired by either the hospital, the insurance company, or the family, and we work with them for 6-month period blocks on the transition for their loved one. And so we stay with that family for 6 months. But what I kind of explained earlier about making sure that the power of attorney, that sort of stuff's in place, that we've looked into Medicaid, a trust, those things are really kind of key. You need to get those set up, and you don't need somebody like me to do that. And once you do that, then you're halfway there. Okay. If you have a clinical, issue or a criminal background or something like that, that's more the type of individual we work with on privately. So that's not a problem either. But yeah, the best way is just contact us through atbhealthcare.com on our website, and you can just fill out a form. It keeps you pretty private, and you can share information with us that way on how you want to be contacted. Or you can reach out to us directly on our phone. It's also on the website too. We are working on a chatbot for the website, and which you will just be able to, hopefully in the next few months, it'll be up, and where you'll just be able to ask it questions, and it's going to have a nice little conversation with you. We're still working on some bugs on it, but that should be able to help individuals out.
Well, this is what I want to say. You are welcome back anytime. Thank you so much for the work that you do, not only as a caregiver, because we are all connected by soul and spirit and elbows in this journey of being a family caregiver, but even by extension, what you do professionally to make sure that individuals are placed somewhere if for some reason they don't have a home where they can return. The fact that you do all you can to get them placed somewhere that is adequate and safe and sound, that's amazing. So thank you very much.
No problem. If somebody called you and they ask you for help, you're supposed to help, right?
Yes.
Right. It's just, that's what it is, right? So, someone needs help, so you just help them.
Fantastic. Well, you take care. You take care.
I will. You do the same.
Soon. All right, hon. Bye-bye.
Let's snuggle up.
Number 1, type 2 diabetes can push you into dementia. Damn it. Listen, what the hell is this dementia doing to us? Looks like everything and everywhere all around is just ending up at dementia land. Pass, go, get $200 and get dementia. Is that the new game we playing now? I remember when Zeddy had the catastrophic event of my daddy's death that pushed her over into it. I didn't know that a sudden calamity could cause it. They were like, oh yeah, J Smiles, they can. And now Timothy has let us know that his mom's type 2 diabetes absolutely led to her dementia. And that it's not just her, that this is a known thing. They just hadn't let us known it. So if you have type 2 diabetes, or if you know someone with it, blah, 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 please get them to keep it in check, right? Like, it doesn't have to run amok. Your type 2 diabetes can be managed. Please manage it, because you don't need to go from diabetes into dementia. Number 2, everyone isn't wanted. That's so hard and ugly to say. But everybody doesn't have a family or a loved one or a neighbor or a community who cares. Therefore, as a family caregiver, you're listening, you're watching, that's hilarious. You're listening, and we're going to keep all this in here because that's what we do at the Parenting Up podcast, right? This is the point. We are human and shit happens. Just like that, blah, 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 that J Smiles just happened to do. You're a part of this village. So you're listening or you're watching. So you do care for someone with dementia or some other debilitating disease. But man, everybody that is suffering doesn't have a you. Give yourself credit for that. Give yourself credit for caring. Even on a bad day, even when you get the doctor's appointments incorrect, or maybe I forgot mom and dad's shoes. I brought the slippers instead of the sneakers. Whatever. I forgot the name of the doctor. Whatever. I forgot to give mom her favorite juice. I gave her water instead, and now she won't drink anything. Whatever. I forgot to call back the insurance company. You guessed it. Let me hear it. Right. Whatever. You at least are showing up and you care. Because as Timothy let us know, there are some people who are left in the hospital and nobody even shows up to discharge them. Oh, man. But, truth be told, that could happen to any of us at any moment in time. Because as my grandmother, Zeddy's mom, told me over and over again, nobody owes you anything. No one. Not your mama, not your daddy. Anything that is ever done for you, it is a choice that someone decided in that moment in time to care for you. So listen, the fact that you choose to care is a big freaking deal. And if no one told you recently, thank you for day in and day out choosing to care for your LO. Even when you don't want to. You do it any damn way. Number 3, what have you done for yourself today? Not yesterday, not last week, not last year, today. This day. I don't care if it was 30 seconds or 30 minutes. What have you done for yourself? I'm going to pause for 5 seconds. And I want you to say it out loud wherever you are. Now, if you didn't say anything, boo! And I want you to do something for yourself before you go to sleep tonight. It could be 5 minutes of a crossword puzzle. Watch 5 minutes of a television show or something streaming that you like. A music video. Sing a song that you like. Pull the song up and sing along. Take a bath. Massage your own feet with lotion. Something for yourself. Hell, maybe actually go to bed. If you're a caregiver, just going to bed is a big freaking deal. Okay? Don't let me down. I'm depending on you to take care of you. All right. What's up, family? Share this episode right here with a caregiver you love. Review on Apple Podcasts. Follow us on social media. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes.